So you recently started a podcast too for book thinkers.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that. And I know you've met some really awesome people you've been able to interview over a couple of weeks.
Yeah, the purpose of my podcast is to connect my audience of nonfiction book lovers with the world's top authors, to help them discover new books and new mentors and new resources that they can use to achieve more and live better. Because books did that for me. And so the guests so far have blown my mind. Evan Carmichael was my first guest. He's been a mentor of mine for a little while. He's got a couple million subscribers on YouTube.
Who is he?
He's got a couple million subs on YouTube, and he's written a couple really good books. Okay. I had Jim Kwik on. He is Will Smith's brain coach, actually, and he's the brain coach to like the who's who of the Hollywood elite and stuff.
Really?
Yeah, super interesting guy.
Wow.
I had Russell Brunson.
Has he told you like what he does as a brain coach? Like, what do you do?
Well, he does a lot. So what he does is he looks at you and he says, your brain is a supercomputer, and everything you're doing is programming you to see the world a specific way. And so he helps you to break out of that box, to see things differently, to learn more efficiently. He's a big proponent of reading books. He's read thousands, and he does speed reading and all this crazy stuff.
What does that mean? Speed reading, like reading without understanding, just reading, or reading while understanding what you're reading?
Reading while understanding more than slower. So he has this cool analogy that I think everybody will like. He says, when you're driving in a car and you're going slow, maybe you're in bumper to bumper traffic or something, you have the free time to pay attention to everything else around you. You might daydream, you might be singing a song, you might be looking at the house on the side of the road, whatever, because you're not driving fast. But when you're driving fast, you have nothing except attention on the road, right?
Yeah.
Because you can't afford to be like looking at a house while you're driving really fast.
No, you cannot.
And so with reading, what happens is a lot of us read too slow, and then we daydream. And we pay attention to other things. Are you
saying by speed reading, you have this laser focus?
Mm-hmm. And you increase your speed, but you also increase your comprehension because you can't daydream.
Right. You can't really worry about anything outside of that laser.
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
And so he has a lot of analogies like this. And so Jim Kwik is a super interesting guy, and he just wrote a book called Limitless. And it's all about how our labels become our limits. If you say, I don't want to listen to this, I'm not a reader. By saying I'm not a reader, you're creating a limitation for your supercomputer, and now it can't read. And so another thing that Jim says, and then we'll get off of him, but he says the two most important words in the English language are I am. And that's because if you self-identify as something, you become something. And so by saying I am not a reader, you're not a reader. By saying I am a reader, now you're assuming the identity. It becomes part of your supercomputer.
So it's kind of like your self-motivation, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.